Okay then, Chloe, so you're one of the few students who did much better in the homework than they did in the test a fortnight ago. So 35 you got in the last test. Let's see if you've managed to improve on that this time. Right, you got the first bit wrong. What you've written there is 2,250,310. To make that 25,000, you want that zero there rather than where it is. That one's right. 38, 32, 46. 32 is not a multiple of 6. 42 is the multiple of 6. This is wrong. Now what you need to do, if you haven't got a method for subtraction, you need to learn one. So 300, what you should be doing here is 347, take away 228. So 8 from 7 you can't do, so you have to borrow a 10 from the next column along. So that you're then doing 8 from 17, which you can do, 2 from 3, which you can do, 2 from 3. So it's 119 is what you're looking for. 81 is correct. They are all factors, but you were missing 7 and you're missing 14. It often helps to write them in pairs, so you do 1 and 28, 2 and 14, because those are the two that multiply to give that, and 4 and 7. Then you know you haven't missed any of them out. So you lose a mark there. 7,000 is good. 51, unfortunately, 3 goes into. So again, you lay this out like this. So 3 into 5 goes once, remainder 2. 3 into 21 goes 7. So 51 isn't a prime number because 3 goes into it. What they're looking for is 53 or 59. And that's good. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 for the page. Okay, you've got your maths perfect here, but 2 marks are for actually telling me what you're doing, and you're not telling me what you're doing there, so I can't give you any marks for the communication. That's good. 5 for the page. That's perfect. 4 marks for that. Hockey is correct. Now this is wrong only because you don't write probability as a ratio, you write it as a fraction. But your numbers are right, so you'll lose a mark for the way that you've written that. That is correct, and this is correct. 25 divided by 10, you should be able to divide by 10 without too much problems. So you're going to lose a mark for not finishing that. 4, 6, 8, 9 for the page. 50 centimeters is correct, and 66 centimeters squared is correct too. So that is right, and that is right, and that is right, and this one's wrong. It's not 3%, it's 30%. So 3 marks there, 9 for the page. 5, 2 losses, 1 draw, 1 win. Good. And this one draws twice, loses twice. It isn't draws twice, loses twice. It's draws twice, loses 3 times. So you haven't got that one right. Right, 6 foot, 2.5 men is correct. So 2.5 men will be 15 feet. Don't worry, if you're estimating in feet, keep your work in feet. Don't worry about changing it to meters. You either work in meters, in which case you'd be estimating that to be, say, 2 meters, or in feet. So ignore that bit. So total for the page, 7. That one isn't right. Now for this one, because it's a rhombus, that means basically all the sides are the same length, and that triangle is identical to that triangle. In which case, that angle there and that angle there are the same. So that's 37.2. And then this means that that side and that side are the same. So that's an isosceles triangle. In an isosceles triangle, the angles at the end of the two equal sides are the same as well. So if that's 37, that's 37, then you add those two together, taken away from 180 for a triangle, will give you x. This one is correct. Well done. And that's correct. 5 for the page. You would expect that to be 25. Now, in order to get that, you will have worked out what that probability is. So I can't understand why you haven't written that down. So basically, the probability of a player winning a prize, hold on, excuse me, about to sneeze. Excuse me. So a win is a score of 10 or more. So you would count the number of times you can win playing this game. So the number of times you can score 10 or more. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the top number would be 5 out of the total number of possible outcomes, which is all the numbers inside that table, which is 12. So that would be 5 out of 12. What you're about to try and do in there, I don't know why you've rubbed it out, is correct. Okay, that is right. 6 8s are 48, and then you're going to have £48 that's going to come to. Then you know that 25 people win, so each of those get £1.50. So you would do 25 lots of £1.50, which comes to £37.50. Yeah, 25 lots of £1 and 25 lots of 50 pence. So that comes to £37.50. Then you would take those two away, and that gives you your profit. So you shouldn't have rubbed that out, you should have kept going with that. With this one, you've got a 5A, but it's not a 6A. You have to keep, we did this last week, you have to keep the sign with the letter. Okay, and it's the signs to the left. So it's 5A take away 6A, which is 1A, minus 1A, and then 3B take away B, which is 2B. So you've got the first bit wrong. You lose a mark there. This is a mistake that I warned you about when we were doing these in class. That means something divided by 5 is 10. So the x is being divided by 5, so you have to undo a divide by 5. The opposite of divided by 5 is multiplying by 5. So what you're looking for there is 50. That one's right. 2, 4, 5 for that page. Now with these you have to give an explanation. You're actually wrong there, because 2, what they're looking for there is it's false, because 2 is an even number and it's prime. This one is also false, because if you get the number 18, you're half 18, you get 9, not 4. And that is correct. Well done. That is correct. Now the problem here is, not problem, sorry, but in order to work the square numbers, when we went through this in class, what we established was for any square number, the powers are all even, always. So that's not a square number because that's an odd power and that's an odd power. To make that an even power, I'd have to multiply the number by 2, and then that would be 2 squared. To make that an even number, an even power, I'd have to multiply by 3 to make that 3 squared. So to turn that into a square number, I have to multiply by 2 and by 3, which means I have to multiply by 6. And then all of those will be even. This isn't a grouped frequency diagram. What I said in class was, if you're not sure what a grouped frequency diagram is, they usually give you one to compare. So that is the type of diagram they're expecting you to draw there. There are 75 logs, and Tom has got the longer ones, but you're not going to get the mark unless you explain why. Now what they're looking for you to say there is, Billy, these are the longer logs here. So Billy has only got 10 logs that are bigger, longer than 65. Whereas Tom, although you can't really tell from the way that you've drawn it, if you look up here, Tom has got 40 logs that are in that group of bigger than 65. So that's what they're looking for you to describe. $230, $460, $692, $63. That's brilliant. Well done. Okay, you've done all the hard work. It's a shame you didn't give that a go. Have a look how I explain that on the video clip. See if it makes sense to you. It isn't 70. Again, take a look how I go through that on the video clip. You may not have done angle properties and parallel lines. If you haven't, then you will struggle with it. And that is correct. Well done. Again, have a watch of me going through that. Something we will practice algebra in context, but see if we can make sense of it. Right, I think that's a much better paper than the one you did a fortnight ago, Chloe. Let's see what you score. 9, 14, 23, 32, 39, 44, 49, 54, 55, 59, 62. 62 is a C. Well done. That's much better. Well done.